have our guest is here. Dr. U-Shaka Ra-Nebu Anpu is with us, the writer of the book African American Meditation for African Americans. What's the full title here? Meditation for African American, Igniting the Inner Light. And you can find this actually on YouTube, Amazon. He's out there. So he's written a wonderful book on meditation. As you know, March has been our meditation. Instead of March Madness, we're having March meditation. And so I'm glad that he's with us, coming all the way. U-Shaka, are you in North Carolina? Is that where you are?
I am now located in North Carolina. I've been here for the last, I think, 4 years. I came here as a result of my mother, which was 94. She since have transitioned on. She transitioned in 2017. And so I have fulfilled my obligation. And so I'm now looking for my next big adventure.
Well, you know, you have a lot of adventures. I remember talking to you one time, and you were telling me that you had, you know, because we were talking about Mount Shasta, and you were telling me that you just don't just go there like for a retreat, that you go and camp there, you know, bears, mountain lions, everything else, walking around. And so, I mean, you're an adventurer for sure. Did I remember that correctly?
Mount Shasta. Yes, you have a vivid memory. I had forgotten all about that. But Mount Shasta was one of my go-to places, particularly for a retreat. You know, I would go there and spend, you know, you have to spend, to be able to get the full effect of Mount Shasta, you have to spend at least 3 days, minimum 3 days. Then you can begin to feel the energy, the vibrations, all of the ancestral spirits that comes and pay a visit. It is a wonderful and it's a beautiful place. I encourage you, if you haven't went and spent more than 3 days, to go and check it out.
I would like to read a little bit about our brother, and thank you again for staying up late and joining us. He's trained as a clinical psychologist, Dr. U-Shaka Ra-Nebu Anpu. His career involved researching mental health services for the African American community. More recently, Dr. Anpu focused his research in a totally different direction, but with the same objective of helping people transform their lives through nutrition and meditation. Dr. Anpu began to apply the science of meditation to his life over 46 years ago. Because of its therapeutic value, he has strongly advocated the integration of this modality into the lifestyle of African Americans. This book is intended for all of those individuals who are seeking to learn about the theory and practice of meditation, also for those who would like to develop their spiritual consciousness through the practice of meditation. And he has a couple of quotes here from Krishnamurti and Dr. Naim Akbar. In this book, you'll learn how to overcome growth blockages, increase your ability to focus, enhance creativity, achieve personal goals. You get the idea. So I would recommend getting this book, but we have the next best thing right now. And so Dr. Anpu, the floor is yours, sir.
Okay. All right. First, I would like to give thanks to the Creator and the ancestors for this wonderful gift that we call life. I would also like to thank you, Brother Imhotep, and the Wosei community for inviting me to share my thoughts on the subject. I know that there have been several speakers, I think 2 speakers before me, on this subject are Dr. Carl Mack and Dr. Kofi Kowani. Well, by now, I would think that the audience are experts on the subject of meditation. You know, you had two wonderful people. Well, here's my offering to the subject. I would like to begin with a chant that was found in the tomb of Seti I around 1350 BC. Let me start with a vibrational tone. U-Shaka, Ra-Nebu, Nu-Shaka. I am. I am the word itself. I am. I am raw, glorious, shining spirit. I am. I am the soul of Ra. I am. I am the word. I am Ra, who creates through sound. I was first introduced to Wose community in Oakland back in the 1980s when the church was on Galendo Street in Oakland, California. So my roots go way back. My roots are so deep, I'm still connected to the heart, to the mind, and to the spirit of the Wose body. Today, I want to take a little time to share with you some things I learned about meditation. The 4 areas that I would like to cover is 1, what is meditation? 2, why should we meditate? 3, how to meditate? 4, when to meditate? And along the way, I've scattered a few pearls that we can check out as well. What is meditation? You know, I know people say what you should meditate and it's good for you and so forth, but I like to start with a basic question. What is meditation? My journey, I want to talk about my journey first into the subject of meditation. My journey into the world of meditation began in 1969. After completing my tour of military service, I received a 3-month early out and I returned to school. At the same time, I took a job, a part-time job at an orthopedic hospital where I worked in the billing department. At this hospital, I met a friend by the name of Metta. I forget his last name, but his first name was Metta. I would never forget Metta. We would have these long philosophical conversation about the mystery of life. And Metta, we would go on, some of the things that we would talk about was, why are we here? You know, where did we come from? Where are we going after we leave the body? What is death? And so forth and so on. One day, Metta asked me about meditation. He says, do you know anything about meditation? Have you ever meditated? And I confessed, I said, no, I haven't, you know. And he says, why don't you come with me? I would like to take you to the Vedanta Center in Hollywood. I was living in Los Angeles at the time. And I said, okay, I accepted his invitation. And we together went to the Hollywood Center. This was my first introduction to the subject of meditation. When we entered the Hollywood Temple, I discovered that people were sitting throughout the temple quietly. They were meditating. Meta looked at me as we moved forward towards the front of the temple, and he says, why don't we take a seat and sit quietly here? And so we did. We sat quietly for nearly a half an hour. Then someone began to chant in the Hindu language. I will never forget. And someone was the Swami in charge of the center. As he chanted for about 5 or 6 minutes, he began to talk. After the chant, he began to talk on the subject of meditation. This was my first introduction to meditation. After the initial visit, I continued to go back to the center for further meditation sessions, and I listened to the subject on meditation that is being spoken about meditation. By this time, I had picked up several books on the subject and began to practice on my own. After graduating from UCLA in 1973, I left the Southern California area and moved north to Northern California. This is when I had made my initial encounter with the Wosei community. However, after moving to the Bay Area, I also discovered the Vedanta Center in Berkeley and established a personal relationship with the Swami there, which was instrumental in further developing my practice in meditation. Here was an opportunity for me to be around what many call a realized soul, someone that had energy that could transmit it like a laser beam, So I had an opportunity to experience this, and I wondered, I said, well, how did he was able to actually accomplish some of those feats, those things that he was doing? So I go back to the original question is, what is meditation and what is yoga? Meditation is about discipline. It's about being, let me go back. Meditation is a yoga discipline which began to be practiced in ancient Kemet to promote spiritual enlightenment. Simply, meditation is a tool to help you to become more aware of yourself and more aware of the environment in which you live. Let me say that again. Meditation is a tool to help you to become aware of yourself and the environment in which you live. How many of you have heard the term monkey mind? Our mind has been characterized as a monkey mind because it is always active. Can you visualize this monkey who has also just finished a fifth of vodka? And to make matters worse, he was just stung by a bee. This is supposed to have characterized the mindset of our mind. It is so active that it's constantly in motion, constantly moving. So it is characterized as the monkey mind. It may be a little exaggeration, but for the most part, our mental thoughts are pretty active. And as a result, some people have been able to develop a process or a way to slow this activity down, and others have not. Meditation is one way of being able to bring the mind into some kind of discipline to slow it down, because left to its own resources, it has a tendency to get away from you. And I've seen this in my practice as a psychologist, when the mind has completely have gotten out of control and people need psychiatric help and support. Not only that, they also need drugs to be able to bring them into some sense of balance and harmony. let me also give you another use for meditation. It's also a discipline which individuals use, as I mentioned, to train their mind. The practice of meditation also induces a style of consciousness for you to grasp some benefit. So you're not just meditating just to be meditating. There is something to that you will receive as a result of your meditation, such as making the mind calm and peaceful. Meditation may also help you to realize some spiritual fit by tapping into one higher self, the saku. I call it's an ancient term that we use. We call it the saku. You will also discover that meditation is not about doing, it is about a state of consciousness. While meditation is not a religion, it is a tool that is used by religious people and non-religious people as well to achieve a higher state of awareness. Remember, the goal of meditation is to unite, to bring together the individual consciousness as well as the universal cosmic consciousness. Let me say that again. Ultimately, the goal of meditation is a practice to unite or yoke one's individual consciousness with the universal cosmic consciousness. Deep meditation is a state of profound, deep peace that occurs when the mind is calm and silent, yet completely alert. For me, meditation has become a way of life, not merely a technique. The what is meditation and why meditate is very closely connected. Once again, the what is meditation and why meditate is very closely connected. Once you discover what is meditation, it seems to answer why meditate. For an example, most people meditate to relax their unruly monkey mind, to slow down and eventually stop the constant activity of their mind. Have you actually stopped and monitored how active your thoughts are? Let's say your goal is to know your higher self, the God within, the Saku. You know, it's there, just hidden behind the monkey mind of thoughts. So your challenge is to calm down the mind enough to recognize your higher self, the God within, the Saku. The calmer and the relaxed you become, guess what? The closer you become to who you really are. Let me say that again. The calmer and the relaxed you become, the closer you become to who you really are, who you have always been. By sitting still and observing your thoughts, you become aware of how much control you actually have. A good example is that you say, I'm going to focus on stealing the mind. Then you watch the mind become anything but still. Thoughts all over the place. The monkey mind is on vacation and is having a wow time. Meditation is about quieting the mind, controlling your thoughts. According to one of my favorite teachers, you mentioned him, Brother Imhotep, Krishnamurti. Krishnamurti is this way: our daily search is always outgoing, meaning that we are constantly externalizing. So the mind is seeking any experience of outgoing, he says. He said, inward going is not really a search. It's all perceiving. Meditation is about looking inward. Our ancient ancestors stated, the purpose of all human life is to achieve a state of consciousness apart from our bodily concern. Once again, our ancient ancestors stated, the purpose of all human life is to achieve a state of consciousness apart from bodily concerns. Why meditate? As noted, meditation can help clear the mind and also address many short-term health benefits. This is another reason that meditation is important, or that we should meditate. What are the health benefits? Such as lower your blood pressure. As we age, somehow our blood pressure happens to, spike up. So being able to meditate will bring that blood pressure down. Deep relaxation, that's another benefit, and that's another reason why one should meditate. Decreased feelings of depression. If you start feeling depressed, meditation can push you out of that feeling of depression. Lower your blood circulation. Lower blood cortisol levels. Lower your heart rate. Slower respiratory rate. And help you reduce the anxiety and the stress of your life. These are other reasons why people find it's important to meditate. Get to know oneself better, seeking calmness and a sense of grounding, or seeking the realization of total enlightenment. When I first started, that was the area of focus. How do I become enlightened? And so the teacher would always tell me, learn how to meditate. You can become enlightened as a result of meditation. So I would like to think that the process is simple, and this is how to meditate. I would like to think that the process is very simple. Your ability to sit still is the first prerequisite. Actually, there are 4 things to consider. 1, motivation. Why are you doing this? You need to be able to come to grips with that. And then you assess the environment that you're in. Are there things in this environment that is going to distract you? You need a distraction-free environment. Do you have your radio going, or is there music or noise in the background? So you need to get rid of all of the distractions to be able to sit quietly. The other thing is to wear comfortable clothing. You don't want to wear something that is too tight that will create, a distraction. So you wear very comfortable clothing when you sit. Okay, sitting postures. Like I said, you don't want to overcomplicate the process, but there is some basic rules. You need to sit with your feet flat on the floor. You need to sit with your spine erect. Why is this important? Excuse me. This is important as a result of the blood flow. You want to be able to have good blood flowing through the body. If you slumped over, or if you sitting in have a poor posture, this, may create a problem in terms of the meditation itself. So there are the traditional sitting positions. You may have heard of the full lotus position. This is sitting on the floor with your feet crossed. You cross your feet, your legs. And then there's the half lotus position. There are other positions that you can sit in. Actually, you can actually lay down and meditate, but most of the time people fall asleep and they don't get the benefit from the meditation. Once you learn to meditate, it is such a beautiful, blissful experience that when you come out of it, you can say, I wished I could put this in a bottle and share it with others so they can have this experience. But it's a beautiful experience. And so if you do it properly, you get the benefits of the meditation. Normally, as soon as you sit to meditate, your head becomes filled with many old ideas, those that you thought you had put away forever. So at this point, I would encourage you to perform what I call a catharsis. A catharsis is nothing more than bringing up repressed ideas or experiences that you have tucked away, that you no longer want to think about. Bring them to your conscious mind. This will help you to relieve tension and discharge pent-up emotions. Without performing this action, you are likely to find these old feelings seeping through during your meditation, and you have tried to dismiss them before. So the first function is to do some deep breathing. I'm sure the other speakers talked about breathing because it's an essential element of meditation. The deep breathing is also part of the catharsis. Try breathing as fast, as deep, and as vigorous as you can for a few minutes. But your total being, put your total being into this process, and now observe what happened. This exercise will help you bring up repressed feelings and emotions. But I must warn you, this is a very powerful exercise, and you have to be very careful because it can cause dizziness. And yes.
U-Shaka. So are you referring to the breath of fire?
No, I'm just a catharsis. This is just breathing. Now
So,
there is this breath of
so it's
fire.
not like Kalpati or skull breathing. Okay.
No.
Right.
I'm not speaking. This is just a catharsis to bring up old thoughts,
Okay.
old memories. Okay. So you get them out of the way, and you can then relax and enjoy the meditation. Okay. Was there any other question, brother?
No. Perhaps there is another question that someone might have before you go on. Any other? All right.
Okay.
I guess they're in meditation. Go ahead.
Okay. Okay, so we were talking about a catharsis and being able to bring up old feelings and old emotions and get them out of the way. So you can sit, in a state, in a very peaceful and quiet state. According to Ra-Nebu, I don't know how many of you might have heard of this particular yogi before. He says basically controlling the breath is controlling the life force. And controlling the life force is controlling the mind. Speaking of the mind, meditation is about making the mind peaceful and calm. You have perhaps noticed this when you sit for meditation, your mind is not peaceful and it's definitely not calm. Thoughts seem to activate themselves. The monkey mind is in full awareness. They are all over the place. So in order to get them under control, techniques were devised. First, as previously mentioned, breathing is an excellent technique. The human breath is the cosmic force, which is the link between matter and spirit. Let me say that again. The human breath is the cosmic force, which is the link between matter and spirit. Between matter and spirit, the human breath. So deep breathing helps calms the mind and bring clarity to the mind. We have identified other techniques that will help you focus the mind. And these techniques, have been given different names, but I went and I was able to identify some of the techniques our ancestors used. And one of them is called focused meditation. Focused meditation is taking your attention, or focusing your attention, I should say, on a single object. It could be your nose, the tip of your nose. It could be a mantra. It could be your breath. But you focus your whole attention on this throughout the process of meditation. So your mind will not wander and, go here and go there. You have, a specific focus, and focus meditation will help you do that. If you decide, says, okay, I'm going to meditate, and now, well, what kind of meditation you're going to do? You're going to say, I'm going to do focus meditation. That is if you decide to focus on a particular object, so your mind will not continue to drift off. Then there is the open monitoring meditation. This is when you just sit and quietly observe all of the thought process that's coming into your mental consciousness. You just observe.
U-Shaka,
No
U-Shaka.
judgment. Yes.
So we had a question. Well, it looks like it's been answered by Minister Amadi, but Brother John asked, he said, the cosmic force between matter and anybody remember what you just said? And Minister Amadi said the breath, and Minister Alicia said matter and spirit. Would you confirm that for us? So the cosmic force.
The human breath is the cosmic force, which is the link between matter and spirit.
All right. All right.
Do we have it now?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. And so we were talking about open monitoring meditation. This is without judgment or attachment. You just watch everything that comes into the mind. And you don't put any judgment on it. You don't attach anything to it. You just observe it. This is called open monitoring meditation. And then there is what I call graceful presence, just being there. Okay. Very much like open monitoring meditation, but it's, it has its characteristics of no focused attention, choiceless awareness, or pure being. The thoughts will dissipate. So as you watch everything come through, you just keep watching. The objective is that the volume of thinking began to dissipate. The same thing with open monitoring meditation. Eventually, these thoughts will become less and less, and you begin to see the real you, the real self, because now the thoughts are not the object that's blocking you from seeing who you really are. These techniques help one train and develop the mind so the graceful inner silence and the deeper states of consciousness will be discovered. Once again, these techniques help one train and develop the mind so that the graceful inner silence and the deeper states of consciousness will be discovered. At some point during this process, both the object of focus and the process itself is left behind. Once again, at some point during this process, both the object of focus and the process itself will be left behind. And guess what's left? You, the real you, the Saku, the God within, your pure presence. So the next question is, when to meditate? We already discussed what is meditation. We discussed why meditate, and we focused on how to meditate. Now our focus is on when to meditate. Timing is very important. If you're serious about this practice, you will find a time to work it into your normal routine, both in the AM and the PM. I would recommend that, even if you started out with 10 or 15 minutes, you do it in the morning and you do it in the evening. Find a time in the evening. Now, obviously, you would want to build time up a little bit. I know that I get up in the morning at 6 o'clock in the morning and I sit. I sit for an hour and a half, and next thing I know, I have to kind of pull myself out because I got things to do, particularly when I was working. I had to be at work at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock in the morning. So I could not sit for 2 hours. And the 2 hours, it may seem like a long time, but in meditation, it goes by like 5 minutes. It goes so quickly. So the idea here is timing, working out a time that you can work into your schedule and make it much like eating. Rarely do people skip a meal, okay? Meditation should be part of your lifestyle where it's a must, you know. You do it in the morning and you do it in the afternoon. If it's only 10 minutes, do the 10 minutes, religiously, and, in the morning and in the afternoon. And then you work on extending your time. But, some of the elements that we have talked about into practice. Okay. So a beginner, as a beginner, if you are a beginner, you may want to start off sitting for a half hour at a time and then increase your time as you become more comfortable with the process. By sitting both for a short time in the morning and in the evening, this will solidify your meditation practice. A few things to consider during the meditation process. One, time, which we already discussed. Distraction, which we already discussed. Remove every distraction you think about before you sit down to meditate. For instance, go to the bathroom, before you sit down. You don't want to say, oh, I need to get up and go to the bathroom. No, do that before, if it's necessary. Turn off your cell phone. This is your time. This is your time to connect to your higher self. So you want to move all the gadgets that might distract you out of the way. There are people that say, well, what do I do with my hands? They want to know if their hands get in the way. Fold your hands and put them into your lap if that's going to be a problem. But as you move through the process, you will learn how energy flows in the body, and placing the hands in a particular way can be helpful. But at the beginning, we're not really concerned about that. Just place your hands in your lap. Keep your mouth closed as you breathe, and remember not to be too hard on yourself, okay? So many of my brothers and sisters may not know that our ancient Kemetic ancestors were the creator of this beautiful science. But first, let me say a little something about the history of the origins of meditation. Since my introduction to the subject of meditation was presented by an East Indian friend, obviously my most natural instinct would refer that they, the East Indians, were the original owners of this science. But after much research, my steps led me away from the doorsteps of India as well as China. However, the Indian culture had amassed a school of knowledge that was second to none on yoga and meditation, and was readily available to the general public, and still is. This has been the case for many, many, many years. But how many of you know that about 2,700 years ago, ancient Africa, Kemet, lost militarily, then they lost territory incrementally, then they lost the land, they lost the economy, then they lost social system, then they lost their political system, then they lost their spiritual system, and finally they lost their culture and their language. In time, the Black population or the African population in the region was expelled or just breeded out of existence and demographically annihilated. They lost everything. This required nearly 1,500 years of invasion, occupation, pillage, rape, predatory theft, and armed robbery from a Black population of people who had developed at least 7, I say again, 7 advanced writing system. Africa and Africans regressed to a people who could no longer read or write. Nevertheless, I continued to search and travel. I discovered some pictorial drawings. The practitioner was sitting in a lotus position, cross-legged, on the walls of temples and tombs in ancient Kemet, which predated ancient India and ancient China. It is well established that our ancient Kemetic ancestors practiced this pure science over 6,000 years before India or China. Why is this important? Why am I even bringing this up? As a people, we need to embrace our culture and not let others claim ownership of the work of our ancestors. Our ancestors created the mystery system, and out of the mystery system came meditation. We have drifted so far away from it that we do not, and when I say we, I'm talking about African people, do not see a connection. Brother Imhotep, I remember earlier, you mentioned Brother Diop, and you said that name is pronounced as Jaka?
Joke.
Say again?
Joke.
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 In his book, The African Origins of Civilization, he noted that the European so-called Egyptologists refused to assign older dates about the emerging of the civilization in ancient Kemet. He called it another scholarly trick. I go into the details about this subject in my book, Meditation for African Americans. Before I close my talk, I thought it would be good for us to do a visual guided meditation. This is another tool to help you to relax and go deeper into your meditation. As I said before, guided meditation can address many issues and visually show you how to solve these issues. For instance, visual guided meditation can help you make improvements in your life, can help with healing any dis-ease or improving your relationship with others, help you create wealth, help you develop a strong sensitivity about life or any number of other goals that you might be interested in. Before we start the meditation exercise, let me start with a chant. Nu-Shaka, Nu-Ra-Aku, Nu-Ba-Ra, Nu-Shaka. I am the word itself. I am Ra, glorious, shining spirit. I am the soul of Ra. I am Ra who creates through sound. The goal of this meditation script is to bring about a state of peacefulness in body, in mind, and in spirit. Let's take this journey together, first by closing our eyes and becoming aware of our breathing. Remember, as is the breath, so is the mind, the body, and the spirit. Once again, as is the breath, so is the mind, the body, and the spirit. So at this point, let's take in a deep breath In through the nose to allow our stomach to expand as you breathe in. At this point, hold your breath for a few seconds. Exhale through your mouth slowly. This will allow your body to relax on the outgoing breath completely. Your goal is to slow your breathing down consciously. Your goal is to slow your breathing down consciously. Once again, breathe in through your nose. Hold it for a few seconds, then exhale it through your mouth. You are becoming more and more relaxed, and your mind is becoming, once again, your mind is becoming clear and more attentive. Once again, breathe in through your nose, hold it for a few seconds, then exhale it through your mouth. Now, let's bring your awareness to your feet. Take a deep breath in and exhale. Any tension in the sole of your feet is now being released on the outgoing breath. Breathe in the healing light. Now bring your awareness to your lower legs. You can now see a brilliant, radiant light traveling into your legs and releasing all the tension and all the stiffness in your leg. Be aware of any tensions in your calves is being released now. Your breathing is becoming slow and rhythmically. Breathe in this beautiful healing light and visualize this light traveling into your upper legs and releasing all tension and stress on the outgoing breath. Any tension in your thighs is being released at this time. Now, let's bring your awareness to your hips. Breathe in, and as you exhale, allow your hips to relax. While taking in a deep breath, be conscious of this brilliant healing light coming in and traveling down your spine. Envision your spine filled with this brilliant healing light, releasing any tension in each disc and all the joints. Envision your spine filled with this brilliant, bright, healing light, releasing any tension in each disc and each joint. Now it's time to bring your awareness to your stomach. Breathe in and allow your belly to expand with this beautiful, radiant light. Exhale. Release any tension in your stomach area. Breathe in this beautiful healing light. And as you do, you'll see the bright light traveling around the chest and your heart area. As this brilliant healing light spins around the vicinity of your heart chakra responds warmly and begins to open. Now you can see the petals like a flower begin to swirl and open, radiating this light. As you move away from your heart area, you have now arrived at your throat and neck area. Be aware of the dynamics in this area. As you breathe in, you allow any tension in your neck to be released on the outgoing breath. Breathe in. This beautiful healing light bring your awareness to your face. Allow any tension in your forehead, your eyes, your jaw to relax as you breathe out. Your face is now completely relaxed. Visualize a stream of this beautiful healing light in the color of green traveling to the top of your head, your crown chakra. Through a network of cells, this energy moves down throughout your entire body and fills your body with this radiant green light. Momentarily do a complete body scan and allow this radiant green light to move through your body and heal those areas that are in need of healing. It could be a past injury or merely a weakness in your body that you are not aware of consciously. Simply allow this brilliant green light to surround this part of your body now. Your entire body is now full of this radiant light. And now as it expands into your immediate aura, envision this radiating light freeing any energy in your aura that needs to be released. As a result, this radiating light provides the necessary support of healing your body. See your physical body, your chakras, and your aura glowing with this green radiating energy. See your outer connecting energy, your aura like an egg, very robust and free from illness and imbalances. Your body is feeling very relaxed now. Your mind is clear and focused. Your emotions are feeling calm and content. Rest here for a few moments. We have arrived at this peaceful space, and we will sit with it for a few moments. Before we begin to move out of this meditation state slowly, when you feel ready, gently bring your awareness back to your body and to your surrounding environment. Gently open your eyes as you return to your awakened consciousness. This concludes my presentation. Let me see if we have any questions, but before I take any questions, let me share with you some information about some books that I've written. I've written 3 books. The last book was in conjunction with 3 other people. And it was a book that I had a lot of fun in writing. It was called Segment. Segment. This is a picture of what the book looked like, the cover of the book. Segment is a basic training manual that lays out what it would take for us, and I'm talking about African people, to redeem, to reconstruct, to give rebirth, to resurrect and restore the best of what's left of the African population in the diaspora for an exodus and a renaissance on the African continent. This book is not only a vision, but lays out steps in how to achieve this goal. So like I said, I certainly enjoy writing the book. I enjoy writing it with Brother Takar Kilimanjaro. He was one of the people that spearheaded the book and suggests that we put this together. And as I said, it was a basic training manual. Brother Imhotep, or Minister Imhotep, had mentioned the book I wrote on meditation for African Americans, Igniting the Inner Light, in which you were able to get a sample of today in my presentation. I have a complimentary Facebook page with the same title, Meditations for African Americans, Igniting the Inner Light. I would encourage you to check out the page because we put up posts dealing with meditation every day. I take the time and put up posts and get right information, spiritual information that help us along the way. And the very first book that I wrote focused on health and nutrition. It has been revised a couple of times. It's entitled Shifting Your Paradigm. Brother Imhotep had, Minister Imhotep put up a copy of it. And this is it here, Shifting Your Paradigm for Optimum Health and Longevity. This book was written as a result of the observation of our people, watching many of our brothers and sisters die prematurely because they lacked the knowledge of health and nutrition. And the things that they were dying of, we can prevent and reverse. Cardiovascular diseases, cancer, stroke, diabetes. These seem to be a very common disease in the Black community. But little do we know that nutrition is a major player in reversing and preventing a lot of the pain and the suffering in our community. So those were the two books. And as I mentioned earlier about my brother Takar Kilimanjaro, I am always delighted when I'm able to share with people that this is a brother that has dedicated his life to the liberation of African people. He's written 25 books, and the books are this size, over 1,000 pages. And I think, as I said, there was 25, but not all of them. So I would encourage you to go to my webpage and read, excerpts in regards to some of the books. And with that, I'll take any questions that you might have in regards to the presentation or the books.
Go ahead, John. Take yourself off mute, please.
I was actually waving to my daughter as she was taking my grandson away. But I do have a question.
Good, John.
I have a thing that I kind of a mantra that I say, and it says that imagination is the eye of the mind, and that it allows me to look into the inner realm of consciousness for enlightenment, and that it is my third eye. It's just something I made up on my own. So would that be in line with an actual true thought?
Well, I would say that it would, but again, you have to understand something about the third eye. Do you understand what the third eye is?
I've heard it said that it's supposedly connected to the pineal gland. Pineal gland,
pineal gland, yes.
Pineal gland, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, a little bit, not much.
Well, most spiritual practitioners, they spend their whole life, in the search of opening their third eye. Meditation is one practice in which support that and help them to do that. So once you understand your third eye, you understand your saku, you understand the God within, and that's your goal. You want to be able to open that eye so you now see the world from a spiritual perspective more than a physical perspective.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Saku, how do you spell that?
S-A-K-H-U.
S-A-K-H-U. Got it.
It's also
Any questions?
There's also a book by Dr. Wade Nobles. It's called Seeking the Saku. It's another, it's pretty thick. One of the things, and maybe we talked about this already in class, if I could find it really fast. Of course I can't because I'm trying to show it. But when people kneel at football games like Colin Kaepernick does, that's actually a position that's comedic, and that's in this book.
That's one of the sad things for me anyway. Or not sad, maybe sad's not the right word, but because I've come to this awareness late in life, and there's just so many books that have been out for years that I wasn't aware of, and trying to catch up with all this reading is just monumental, but anyway.
Can I just say, John, and this is, of course, everything that you hear from me is the Imhotep version. But there is a book that has not, I should say there's a library that's never been burned down, and it's located in your head, and it's associated with your pineal gland and your pituitary gland. And even if you look at the Bible on a spiritual level, the New Testament, Mary is the pituitary gland. Joseph is the pineal gland. They produce from them produces a seed that is born in the stomach, whereas Bethlehem. That what I'm trying to say is the book is you, and this is what U-Shaka is teaching us. And actually, in his book here, Meditation for African Americans, he has a chapter on opening the third eye. He has a chapter on opening the heart. And I want everybody to know I don't get any residuals for talking about this. He's not going to donate more to the church, but I just noticed that he has these items here in his book, Meditation for African Americans.
I went to your Facebook page, U-Shaka, and it was an error because I was looking to see if I could get the book. Can I get the book directly from you? Maybe with the...
So there was a problem getting it off of Facebook?
From the Facebook page, yes.
Okay, well, we'll correct that. John, all you have to do is go to the messenger and send me your email, and I'll make sure you get the correct link to get the book.
Will do. Do it right now.
Is it possible to put that on the chat, the link?
Can
And
you do that?
also,
Yes,
yes, please.
Well, all you have to do is go to www.ushakainc.com. You should be able to go right to the page where you can order the book from.
That's ordering.
Should I say that again?
Okay.
Yes.
www.ushakainc.com.
Is that your overall web page?
That's the web page where you can order the book from. Now I have several.
Is that your general web page?
For each book I have a web page, but for the I would say all of the books, this is a web page that you can peruse, and you can get an excerpt from that particular page. But I have a page on shifting your paradigm. I have a page on meditation. I have my personal page on U-Shaka, Ra-Nebu, Anpu. And then I have a page, another page. But these are the pages that you can check out, and you can get information. But the one that I gave you on the www, you can go and you can order the book from. And there's some other information there that you can check out as well.
Is it possible to get a listing of those websites and put them in chat?
Sure. I sure will.
That.
Okay, I certainly will.
Excellent. Any other questions for Dr.
Dr. U-Shaka, the mantra that you were using and sharing with us today, is there somewhere we can get the spelling of those so that we can, work, more precisely on them if we were deciding to do that?
Yes, I could, if you send me a message, I can send you the spelling and the interpretation of the mantra itself.
All right, thank you.
You want to
And
send
one-
me a direct message and I will respond by sending you the chant itself. Like I said, it came from Seti I's tomb back 1358 BC. That's quite some time ago. And some way they were able to preserve that, and we have been able to interpret what the meaning of that is.
All right, thank you.
Baba Makalisi, when you get that information, could you forward it to the rest of us, please?
Certainly, if that's permissible.
Oh, yes, yeah, no problem. Make sure, the more, it's a very powerful chant. I tell you, when
Yeah.
I chant that, I get a little buzz as a
All right,
result of it. Oh, yeah.
okay, I'll be emailing you.
All
Thank you.
right.
All right,
And emailing us.
yes.
Can we talk a little bit about walking meditation?
Mm,
Oh, sure, yes. Well, meditation comes in all forms. It depends on how deep you want to go. What do you want to accomplish as a result of walking meditation? You want to just be able to calm the mind down and be peaceful? Or are you trying to reach a state of enlightenment?
For me, I feel like either a walking or movement meditation is ideal for calming the mind during the day, during your daily activities, and for using that to more be able to calm your mind at a moment's notice. Like when you notice your mind while you're busy doing your activities during the day, calm your mind. If you're feeling like anxiety before it starts setting in, to be able to, I don't have time to go into my, meditation closet, or I don't have the, maybe you're out in the shopping center or something like that, and you're walking around and something is feeling anxiety, for you to be able to tap into that at that moment,
Yeah, well, there's
So to answer your question, to calm anxiety.
there's meditation, for gardening, for walking, you don't always have to sit, but for I would think for the most, if you really want to focus on the thoughts and the activity of the mind, you should try to devise a time, whether you can start off with 10 to 15 minutes in the morning, or and the same in the evening, to sit and meditate. But the other forms of meditation are good if they work for you, but again, I would hope at some point that you want to be able to build on your meditation. I've been meditating for a long time, and I can say, that I have, I can validate the experiences that I have had as a result of meditation. And you don't reach enlightenment overnight. It takes time, it takes discipline. I'm sure you're talking about the mind and how it jumps around and how active it is. It's quite a task to be able to control those thoughts, because they are all over the place. And so you need a system. You need to be able to practice. And like I said, if walking meditation works for you, by all means, do it.
I have a quick question, Baba. You said that the mantra is, I am the word of Ra, I am, and it's 3 or 4 other things. Can you repeat those for us, please?
I am, the first one is that I am the word itself.
Okay, the word itself.
I am Ra, glorious shining spirit. I am the soul of Ra. I am Ra, who creates through the word.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you, Baba.
Baba,
Ancestors were something else, weren't they?
yes, and still are.
Yes, yes, they worked through us. Yes.
Can you say something
Any other
about,
questions?
yes, I just have a question. Can you say something
Mhm.
about sounds like the water sound, the wind sound, the bird sounds, any sounds from nature, or any visions like looking up at the sky while you're meditating? Not always having your eyes closed.
Okay, well,
A part of nature.
that could be focus. That could be focus. That would fit under the category of focus meditation. You
Okay.
know, if you want to focus on something, but now the key here is not focus, you know, every second you're focusing on something, but you stay focused on that for a period of time, you know. And so the idea, again, you have to ask yourself, what are you trying to accomplish as a result of listening to the sounds of the birds or listening to, you know, the waves of the ocean? You know, there should be some motivation and some reason why you want to do that.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Now, it
Thank
may sound good, but is that helping you quell the monkey mind?
Or even just leaning back and looking up at the sky
Yeah,
during the day or
but
during the night.
if that helps you quell the monkey mind, because the mind is constantly
Yeah.
moving about, it's constantly active, very active. You know, that description I mentioned about the monkey, you know, having a fifth of vodka and being stung by a bee. That's the way some of our minds are. We are constantly in motion. We're constantly active, you know, from one thought to the next, to the next, to the next. And again, if you want to realize your higher self, somehow we need to be able to put the thoughts aside. Otherwise, we will never be able to understand anything spiritual. The thoughts will begin to crowd out, you know. And so to be able to validate experiences, you need to be able to say, yes, I saw that flash of light. Yes, I felt that. Okay. And so you can validate that experience. Nobody has to tell you anything. You know what you experience.
Even lighting incense or burning candles with scents, you know, as part of the ancient, some of the ancient traditions, you know, the Dogon, the Shona, you know, a lot of the current traditions in the motherland involve, you know, people meditating in different ways or with different things.
So I have not a question, or maybe a statement, maybe. So it sounds to me like the key for those who are new at this is you have to get to that place. You have to be determined, because I know when I try to meditate, that's my biggest issue is I give up, you know, because I can't stop my thoughts. And it's like, it starts to seem like it's a pointless endeavor, you know, so I kind of give up, you know. So it sounds like the key is to muscle through that part or whatever, or.
Well, there's techniques, you know, I mentioned some about breathing, you know, breathing is a key technique. You know, being able to, you know, every time you say you sit and your focus now is just going to be on your breath. The idea is to be able to calm your breath down. Every time your mind moves to another subject or another area, bring it back to your breath. You can actually feel that and see that, okay? And so you just keep bringing it back to your breath. Keep bringing it back to your breath. Or if you want to concentrate on your third eye, just keep bringing it back to the light in your third eye, you see. But do that throughout the session. You can't, you know, the mind has a tendency to just slip away from you. You know, you have to be able to have a point where you can always bring it back to.
I can remember back in the late 70s, actually. Late 70s, I bought a book that had a little plastic record in it on meditation. And I remember playing that thing and meditating, and I drifted off and it scared the heck out of me. And I stopped doing it.
I'll say. Yeah, well, you know, but again, you are moving away from the thoughts and you're beginning to realize who you really are.
Yeah.
You know?
Maybe that's what scared me, huh?
Yeah.
Well, the point is, don't be scared.
Not anymore. That was then.
And let me, so we got about 5 minutes, and I want to thank Dr. U-Shaka Ra-Nebu Anpu for coming and joining us today and sharing with us today his insights on meditation. He's spent a lot of time contemplating, meditating, and just to share my screen. So if you go to Facebook, here is his Facebook page. Can everybody see that? Just somebody say yeah.
I can see it.
Okay. So this is Dr. Anpu's Facebook page. And I don't know why this came up. Not now. Yeah. And so that's his Facebook page. And then you can also go to Amazon, and here's his book, Shifting Your Paradigm for Optimum Health, Longevity, a Model for African Americans, Mastering the Inner Forces. And then also, well, if you just do a search on Dr. U-Shaka Ra-Nebu Anpu, you'll find a lot of things. He's on LinkedIn, you know, Facebook, and Amazon, all the
Can you go back to his name, please?
Yes.
So we could write it down.
Can you? Okay, I'll just let's see if I can copy it here.
U-Shaka.
Yeah.
Let me raise this question.
Nebu.
Go ahead, Makalisa.
Dr. U-Shaka said, if I understood him correctly, these books are available at his site, www.ushakainc.com.
Yes.
And I'm wondering if that means we deal directly with him, directly with you, and not, you know, put Amazon aside.
But yes, Amazon takes too much of my money.
Put the Ujamaa where it needs to be.
There you go.
And, you know, that should be step number one. And if you fail at that, then go to Amazon, but don't start with them.
No, don't start with them. I thank you, Brother Makalisa.
Well stated. So I put Dr. U-Shaka's full name in the chat, along with one of his websites on there, ushakainc.com. And so you can find him that way.
Okay, good.
So that's in the chat. Also, so I want to talk about next week just a little bit. Hold tight. Let's see. Is this the right one? We'll see in a minute. Come on. Come on. Look, people are watching. Don't get ugly. So can everybody see that? Can anybody see?
Yes.
All right. So this is our schedule for March meditation. So we had Dr. Mack beginning of this month. The second session was Dr. Kofi Kandwani. This evening we had Dr. U-Shaka Ra-Nebu Anpu. Next week, so we had Dr. Mack, Kofi, Dr. Anpu. Next week, Wayne Chandler. Wayne B. Chandler will be leading us in our meditation session. So we're looking forward to that. And then following that, I want you to think about, so this is Sister Rashonda Ziegler, and she's a certified Kemetic yoga instructor. And so she might have us do some things. So, prepare yourself. She might ask you to sit on the floor. She might ask you to do some standing. So it might not be just, sitting and listening. I'm not exactly sure what she's going to do, but that might be one. And he mentioned Sekhmet, and I got a chance to go to Sekhmet's temple, and this is Sekhmet in her temple at Wose. And when you come there, her eyes, she has the headdress of a lion, a lioness, but her eyes are human.
Mm.
And at a certain time of day, there's a shaft above her head where the sunlight shines directly on her head. So I was glad that Dr. Anpu had mentioned that he has a book named that, and he was happy to participate in that. And before we close, I was talking to Brother Kalahari before everybody came in, and he told me that he was reading, he was watching some documentary, and some Westerners were trying to say, hey, you know what, I don't know if these people are Black. So this is one of my little videos that I did. I'd like to close us out, and I hope everybody can see it.
They say Bob Marley's the king of reggae, and they say Sparrow is the king of calypso. They say Calypso Rose is the queen of calypso. But listen, people, this one is talking tempo. Get it straight, Africans, get it straight. You must get it straight, for we is great. You better get it straight, Africans, get it straight. All I must get it straight, for we is great. You can't tell I that I's of a third world country when I don't know I's African. Not only that I's of a first world country, but it was my foreparents them who brought forth civilization. One of the greatest things from the Almighty I know was the River Nile. It was the same river bank where Miriam did left baby Moses as a child. You didn't know, And Ramesses, Nefertiti, Tutankhamun, and them, his eye history does want to tilt and chat peer filled when you don't know how them mind-shocking pyramids was built. Just get it straight, Africans, get it straight. You must get it straight, for we is great. You better get it straight, Africans, get it straight. All you must get it straight, for we is great. Don't tell I a thing about royalty, cause I don't know His Majesty. Don't tell I a thing about Elizabeth or Victoria, cause they would have to repeat the works of Ninza, Cleopatra, and Queen of Sheba, of which I know they can't. So people, help me with a chant. You better get it straight, Africans, get it straight. You must get it straight, for we is great. Cause Jah loveth the gates of Zion more than all the dwelling places of Jacob. And glorious things have been spoken unto thee, O city of God, Selah. You better get it straight, Africans.
So we can't tell if they are Black people. For some reason, I don't know why they would have a problem determining that. But many of us are not under those delusions, that deep sickness that wants to deny the African presence along the Nile Valley. All right, so thank you all for coming. We're looking forward to see Dr. U-Shaka will be leading the meditation on Sunday. So he'll be with us at 10 a.m., 1 o'clock p.m. his time. To lead us in meditation, in a guided meditation, probably from one of in his book, Meditation for African Americans. All right.